night, I had brought out all my detail brushes, and I made a couple of sponges, one with a bunch of tiny little holes, one with a little bit bigger holes, and a clean blotching sponge. This is when you want to use new sponges. On the details, the fine details. So we're going to mix 2 drops of primary red with a drop of the anti-bead. This is your really thick mix. I'm going to add 2. Add your blue to the side well, because you're going to dab and mix up this red to give it a dark wine color. We're going to add about 12 drops of water to the center well here. Okay, I'm going to mix that up. That seems really thick to me. I'm going to add a few more drops of water. Maybe 12 more. That was 6. Okay. That's a little bit better. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of blue. I'm just going to touch the corner of my brush in the blue. Add the blue to the red. Again, you're going for a deep wine color. You can go light or a little bit darker on this. And it just gives it a pretty wine color. Like so. And now we're going to add some of our fine details. I am going to go over my darker creases again. The wind's blowing. You can hear the wind blowing. So on my cheeks here, let me put my paints back so I don't mess them up. Now on your details, a lot of people just add them at the last. Again, you don't want to do that. You want to build up these layers to make it look like it's under the skin, not an afterthought. So we're going to add some color to this little baby's cheeks, across the forehead, the top of the head, the back of the neck, and there's my phone. Hang on. Alright, my phone rang. I'm sorry about that. So I'm just adding a little bit of red paint here to my my wider modeling brush. I already did this cheek. So you just want to go along that cheekbone and just give it a little bit of a highlight there. You're modeling, and then take your pouncing brush and just pounce around the corners to blend it in, like so, and just let that dry. Like I said, it's not going to be a thick paint. You're going to build these cheeks up like you did your other layers. So I usually start with my wide modeling sponge, and I'll come back with my smaller modeling sponge, so it'll give this baby a little bit of a cheek design. So we're going to do the cheeks and the back of the neck. Again, it doesn't have to be so dark, so thick that you see it. You want to build this up naturally so it looks like skin instead of, you know, a painted doll. So go right around the bottom of your neck here. I like to do this area, And it doesn't have to be consistent. You can blotch around it. Okay. Like so. And just let that start building up to give this baby some color. Go under the ears. Like so on both sides. And just pat around it because you want to leave a little bit of a design. It's a delicate process. It really is. We're going to go across this forehead here. About halfway across the forehead. On that brow bone, you can start lightening up your fontanelle. Again, take your blending brush. Blend that in very good around the edges. Leave a little bit of a design. With your mottling. I'm going to go ahead and go across that forehead there. And probably down to the nose to give it a little bit of a color. A little bit of color. Maybe high on these cheekbones. Like I say, as you get to painting more, your doll will speak to you. And you can look at it and kind of tell how it's supposed to look. And then the top of the head, I just like to put some blotches around the top of the head to give it a little bit of a unique look, I guess. So you can just blotch around the top of the head. Just to give it a little bit of color. Doesn't have to be perfect. And make sure that you blotch it all out with your blotching sponge. Get rid of any heavy paint there. Alright. So see your baby's starting to get some color. And you're going to do this several times. We're going to do this a few times, like I said, with the big sponge, and then we're going to come back with the smaller sponge. The same thing with your little legs here. And then we're going to do our creases again one more time. The deep creases, the little fine creases. Don't worry about them. When you did them the first time, they should still be showing through your paint. So let's do like around our little knees here. And make sure you take your blotching sponge and blend that in. Like so. You're going to build up these knees. You can do the inside of the thighs if you wanted to. You can do the top of the thighs if you wanted to. I always like to put some behind the leg here on the back. Right here. Okay, you can go around your ankles, do the bottom of your feet. Try not to paint. I'm trying not to touch where it's already wet. Do the bottom of your feet. I don't really worry about the center area because I'm going to fill it with a different color. Bottom of your feet, your little tiny toes. Like so. Again, we're building up this color. It doesn't have to be so thick that you see it. You actually don't want to do that. Some people, it works out for them beautifully. For me, not so much. I like to build it up. I'm going to have to mix some more paint too. So let's go ahead and do this baby's knees. Let's use our blotching sponge and take that off. Okay, we can do the top of the thighs again if you wanted to. Again, it's your baby, your art. You do what you feel is necessary. Do the back of the leg here. Make sure you pat that off. Blend that in. Do the ankles and the bottom of our feet. Here. Again, don't worry about this part of the foot because we're going to fill that in with a different color. Like so. Make sure that you always blend your paint in your little sweet baby doll. Okay, for our arms, basically the same thing. I'm gonna have to mix more paint. That one went quite fast. Let's do our little elbows. Let's blotch that out. We'll do the top of the hands. You blotch that out too. Do inside of your little hand, your arms. Do the top of the arms, like so. Like I said, you don't have to see it necessarily. We're going to build up to it. I am going to have to mix some more paint. I thought those 2 drops would do this whole kit. We may have to go to 3 drops. Just about did, didn't it? So maybe, no, I don't want any extra paint, so we'll just keep it with 2 drops. Blend that in. Your little elbows, sweet little elbows. Do the inside of the little arm here. Blend that in. And let's do some on the top of the arm. And blend that in. Alright, let this dry. Come back and we'll do it again with our smaller sponge, and we'll just keep reversing the sponges. I'll let you know how many coats I do from this point. Probably do about 4, maybe 5, because I really do want to start bringing out the baby's sweet little face. But you can kind of see it there with just 1 coat of paint, how it's starting to bring out the baby details. And so I'm going to do that, work on these blotching areas, and then we'll work on our deep creases again. Okay.